I it paused as always. There's always that one moment of doubt and uncertainty where I'm not sure if I'm actually going to go live or if there's going to be some kind of catastrophic system failure rendering me lifeless. But I seem to be live, and that ain't no jive. So I'm just going to think positive. I'm a couple minutes early, even though I cut it closer than I thought because I actually started a few minutes ago getting ready to pounce on its live chat, and I'm going to. This is the point where I sort of lollygag and drag my feet until someone shows up in the post and proves to me that I'm actually broadcasting in a living fashion. And apparently, they are milking the uh, the suspense factor in this case because there they are. We now have a someone, and it's Gary Carpenter says, "I'm here." And as I could say, "You're back." And we have a running gag, of course. I say be there or be square, and Gary says I'll be one or the other. And Sean Innes is here and says, "Hey, Sean Innes, so glad you could make it, my man." And oh, Gary Carpenter says thank you. And I take it that I am broadcasting because if you can say thank you to me, it means you can actually pick up what I'm laying down. So if you're receiving a transmission, that means I'm a transmitting. The poor little kittens, they lost their transmittance, and I have no idea where that came from. And oh, look, my computer is offering me things I don't want. I can upgrade my antivirus, which I'm not going to do. And I always pause right before I touch because I go, watch. I'm going to somehow, because the screens always overlay some really, 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 really important part of the touch screen. So I don't touch it just right. I end up blocking my entire collection of viewers. And look, Ken Wilkinson is here, or dare I say, Christopher Wilkinson. He says, "Good evening, Bob." Christopher, it's so great to have you in the chat with us. Welcome. Welcome. And okay, so sorry, just the three of us. Just the three of us. Actually, technically, that would be four because I have to count myself. And oh man, I'm buffering again. Does anyone else notice the buffering? Now, Gary, if I remember correctly, you actually watch me on your phone. When people watch me on their phones, they seem to experience more of the buffering. Some people who are on like PCs and stuff don't get that as much. And oh my gosh, look who's here! John P. Adventures is here. He says, "Hugs and a heart, and have a great shoe, a really big shoe." John, I'm gonna have a really big shoe, and I'm gonna ask all you folks, please wish John P. Adventures a prelated happy birthday. Next week is his birthday, and we want to wish him all a happy and safe birthday to our friend at John P. Adventures, who sends us many, many emojis, and many emojis to you as well. I don't know if you guys have a chance to like watch John P. Adventures as much. He puts out some of the coolest videos. Usually it's just him on a bike or on a hiking trail, and he just jaunts around and sees what he can find. And usually it's something fairly interesting. Oh, and by the way, John, I love that backyard of yours. When the weather gets a little bit warmer, I'm sure you guys are gonna have so much fun. Do those inflatable pools? Do they really work? Do they really work? I mean, I like them. They look great, but uh, as you guys know, my lawn is so low to the water table. If I tried to dig a pool, I wouldn't have to fill it. I would just have my own duck pond, which I still have, by the way. You know, I really should. I didn't get such great eclipse photos. I should post the footage I took from my camera just to show you where the duck pond is in my backyard. And Tug says, "Yo," and a yo to you too, Tug. It's a yo yo. And a lot of people saying happy birthday to John Good. Indy Smelts is here and says, "Just the two of us, Grover Washington Jr. and Bill Withers, 1980, neither of which appeared on the Love Boat." John, Indy, you have come to play. Very nicely played. And Lance Chafin says, "Hey, Thresh." And again, everybody, please wish John a happy birthday. Please. And Gary Cooper says, I need to get a PC. I have one. I use my laptop more, but I do use the PC quite a bit. Big Guys 25 is here. It says, hi there. And a hi there to you as well. Big Guys 40s and 5s. And he says, how are the old pipes, Tug? There's a song in there somewhere. Twice on the pipes, ding, ding, means the answer is no. And let's see what else we got here. Big Guy says just hit 5K on TikTok a few days ago. Congrats. Congrats to you there, Big Guys 45. Oh, and speaking of 45s, love the songs you've been playing lately, by the way. Love the platters you're spinning there, man. And Tug says, indeed, drank some hot tea. Seems to have saved my voice. Oh, you don't mean the actual plumbing. You mean his voice, throat, speaking. There, good question. Yeah, you were losing your voice a few hours ago. And what you mean is here says hi everyone, and a hi to you as well. What you mean? And I love the jokes you've been posting lately, man. Great stuff. And Zuplex is here. And he says, good evening. Again, Superplex, commiserations for the loss of your mom. I can't imagine what you went through. Please everyone, tell Zuper commiserations for his loss. Oh, and more happy birthdays to John. Very good. And let's just see what else we got going on here. I'm almost behind, so I'm going to race through. Mostly it's just you guys saying hello to one another. Watching says thanks to Thrash. Spout says, hey, K dude. And hey, K dude to you as well, by the way. Zublik says thanks to you, T Pons. And on speaking of moms, as I'm sure you all recall last week, I was talking about Mrs. Thrash. She had the procedure on Friday. Come around Sunday, she wasn't doing really well, and they had to admit her in the hospital. I'll spare you the details. They put her on some new medications. I was just talking to her a little while ago. She seems much better, but she was in the hospital until Thursday. Um, congestive heart failure, and they were trying to get a lot of the excess fluid out of her so as to relieve her breathing and her blood pressure, both of which are much better. I got to tell a little story, by the way. Actually, before I do, I got to say she saw Sunday's live show and she wants to thank all of you for your warm wishes and your concerns. You guys are the best. She was very touched. Dan says, wait, I'm here. Dan, the breaking news man, and welcome to you too, by the way. And yes, Mama Thrash is touched, but that's another story. She was very taken with all your positive vibes, and I wanted to pass that on because she wanted me to mention to you that she got them, and it meant a lot to her. But she was breathing so bad on Sunday. This woman came in to it. They had to admit her, so they had to like take some personal information down, and they asked her, "Now, what's your street name?" And my mother was like, ABC, EFD. And the woman's like, is that two words? And I'm like, no, you stupid cow. She can't breathe. You work in a hospital and you've never been around somebody who's having trouble inhaling before? Schmuck. But anyway, she's doing much better now. Her breathing is much better. Her color is much better. And as far as I can tell from what she says, the she's very tired. But of course, her son caused that to her. But she's very tired. But they were very encouraged that the new medications they have her on are controlling her blood pressure, and her breathing is much better. She can actually complete a whole sentence. Azuplex again says thank you. You're quite welcome. A lot of people commiserating with Superplex and wishing John P. Adventures a happy birthday. And oh, Sean says, "Hey, all, I'm multitasking here, but listening more than understand." And oh, look who's here! Emily Miller. She says, hey y'all, country girl, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the party." John Doe's here and says, "I'm here. What's up?" Well, John P. Adventures. It's his birthday next week, so we're all wishing him an early happy birthday. And I was just passing Mama Thrash, my mother, wanted to thank everybody for saying all the nice things they said to her last Sunday, and she's doing better. Thank you. And Gary Cameron says, T, I can relate to him. What do you mean says Mama Thrash? Yes, Mama Thrash. You like that? Oh, while we're on the subject, some people mistook it as Mrs. Thrash. My wife, no, she's fine as far as I can tell, as fine as usual. But it was my mother. Dan says B&B birthday show last night was awesome. Yeah, I watched it in replay, and please watch me do me a favor. I've actually said this to Chrissy myself, actually, but if anyone else goes on Chrissy's channel as well, I am so sorry. I worked late last night. By the time I get home, I literally I went on and it was like posted like minutes before. I was like, wowzers! As soon as I could, I went on there, wished her happy birthday, and watched it in replay, and told her I was doing that. So hopefully she got the message. She goes on every Saturday. This was the last day of school vacation week in Massachusetts, and well, this last weekend I should say, probably why we were busy. I don't think we're going to be as busy next Saturday. So if I'm home in time, come heck or higher heck, I will make it to one of Chrissy's live shows. But I tried. But I'm glad you would. Yeah, what do you mean you were there too? Now that I think of it. But guys, thank you for letting us know. And I'm just going to skim down. And Ziplex just jumped off the page. So I'm going to. Oh, here it is. Mom passed away last March, Emily. Yes, we're all wishing Superplex commiserations for his loss. He and his mother were very close, and I can only imagine how bad that loss was. And Tug says those anniversaries are always hard. Yes. Gary Kepler says, my mom has been gone since 93. That's over 30 years, bro. Commiserations. Commiserations. Zuplik says, message retracted. Message retracted to you as well. Lance lost his mom back in 90. Again, I remember you mentioned that last week. Commiserations to you too. Zuplik says, good to hear T-Pawns. Pass her our regards. I certainly will. In fact, she might even be watching. She doesn't actually have her own YouTube account, so she can't pass messages. But she always loves to tell me after the show, "Oh yeah," and Tracy was funny. She said this, and Tug was funny. He said that, and she does watch the show faithfully. Oh, Harold the Hatter's here. Hey, Scott, what's going on, man? He says, "Hey, everybody." He's doing the coolest things now. What he's doing is he's taking excerpts from a video game, one of those high-end video games. It's a soccer game based on that show. I'm gonna say the name wrong. Rentham, because there's a town in Massachusetts called Rentham. I think I'm mispronouncing it, but anyway, it's based on this English soccer team and their exploits. And what he does is he shows the game as it's being played and commentates on it like he's an actual commentator. It's really slick. It reminds me of some stuff we used to do years ago when we played Risk and Axis and Allies and other World War II strategy games. I would do my uh, World War II commentator, and the Axis powers are landing in Okinawa, which is odd because they already took it. And I would just the panzer columns stream across North Africa, and the Soviets are mounting a heroic counterattack, and I would commentate the the actual gameplay. Gets old really fast. Actually, no, it was actually very very cute. At least to me. Sometimes more interested in the game itself. But anyway, Scott's doing that with these soccer games, and Tug's even coming in and interjecting as well. So it's actually Tug. Yours was actually very funny, by the way. Little comic um, take on the game. Emily Miller says, Zublix, when does the numbness go away? That's right. That's right. Commiserations to you as well, Emily. All I can say is it doesn't so much go away as you move past it. And I know that's not very encouraging, but you just have to kind of get past it. And I'm sure you all know exactly what I mean, but sometimes the loss will just come back and it'll make you sad. But sometimes it's just nice to remember, even though it makes you sad to remember the people you lost. You know, sometimes it's just nice to remember them. And you kind of have to you take the sour with the bitter, as they say. But it seems there've been a lot of losses lately. Now that you mentioned it, and I don't want to gloss over anyone's. And recent losses and past losses as well. I just want you folks to know. And I don't want to get too maudlin. This is a happy show, but I feel for you. I feel for you, and hey, we'll get through it all. We'll get through it all. And I'm going to skip down here. And Tug says that "Creature of of Habit" song by Dave showed us earlier today been driving me batty. Google doesn't have the answers. Um, that's the weird thing about the MTV generation, music videos as a whole. There were a lot of one-hit wonders back in the '80s. A lot of times it was the direct result of the fact that the music wasn't even that good. The video was interesting, so they would show the video on MTV and other outlets. But the band came and went, and if the band came and went, um, almost best bet, and this actually worked for me a few times. Um, Find an old DJ, find someone who worked in college radio or someone back in the '80s, and say, "Have you heard anything about this?" Or post it like much like you just did now, Tug. Post it and see who bites, see who knows what you're talking about. I actually did that with that other song Dave played by the Weeds. That they had no other hit, and I can't even find much on that one. Rumble in Babylon, a rare first Gulf War protest song, which was kind of slick in a early '90s retro kind of way. Oh, and Lynn says, "Hey Scott, I won the Twilight Zone DVDs today." Yes, he did, and congratulations to that. And I think I way jumped again, so I'm just gonna backtrack here for just a momenta. Because I'm actually way behind. I should have pontificated so long. Um uh Don't worry. I won't skip any of you if it kills me. Alright, here we go. A lot of people having fellowships. I'm gonna skip those. Ziblik says she loses a hold. My heart life goes on though. Emily says my mom passed away less than 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't cried. Is that normal? Yes, yes, it is very normal. And trust me, Emily, you will. That's all I can say. You will when you're ready. When you've coped, that's when you'll cry. John Doe says, "Are you doing anything special for Earth Day?" I'm visiting the Earth. Emily Miller says, "I'm so sorry, Blacks." Gary Gamer says, "I was on the Croft special last night." You were? That is cool squared. Emily Miller says, I already read that one. Sorry. Tug says, "Emily, when my wife's mom died, it took a couple of months. Took her a couple of months specifically." And John Doe says, "You can get multiple dads, but one mom." Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Although one is more than enough in both cases. Lynn says, "Emily, people deal with loss in different ways. Ain't that the truth?" Justin's here from the Braidwood Inn says, "Sorry, just arrived. What is the craft special?" Oh, yeah, Dave was talking about it earlier today. It was the Croft special, and it was on Croft Saturday morning shows. I didn't see it myself actually, but it sounded like mucho funzo. What you mean says my mom passed away in 18. Commiserations, lad. Emily Mo says, "Thank you, Tug. I was wondering if I was more weird than even I thought." Emily, you may be even more weird than even you thought, but that's not a harbinger of it. And we still love you. And moving forward gently, Mr. Wilkins says it's hard to lose your mom. I lost mine 5 years ago. I miss her. Commiserations. I remember you mentioned that. Commiserations to you and your father, who's an amazing man. Your father is a very cool man there. Christopher. And Indy says, Tug, what's the question about creatures of habit? Oh, it just that you can't find any information on it. You go to search engines and it's like, creatures of habit, song, what's the context? It looks like, oh, wrecks them. Thank you. Wrecks them. He took men's hearts, then wrecks them. But yeah, I was checking various search engines. It's almost like it wasn't even a real music video. It was almost like, remember movies back in the 80s sometimes would have music videos worked into them. Sometimes they were germane to the plot. Oh, what was that really, really, really sick Catherine Turner movie? Crimes of Passion. There's a music video in that for I can't even remember. For some reason, there's this really creepy music video in it. Gary says, "Why my grandmother passed away in 2014." Ozublik says, "Where is Cindy D?" Cindy D said to me that she has a church function tonight and can't make it. She's going to watch it replay. She insisted I do the Love Boat trivia, which I will do as soon as I can get to it. Probably about 8:15 at this rate. John Doe says everyone mourns a loss in their own unique way. Some cry, some fight, some drinks. You'll know what to do when the time comes, Emily. It happened to me. John, very, very well said. And Tug says Indie Dave played a music video from the 80s for a song that was Google can't identify. And Justin says, Tug, I noticed that if it's not a Discogs, something may be off there. And Gary says, everyone has a different way of mourning. Justin goes on to say, I think he may have got the name wrong. Ooh, good point. That might, because you know how many times I've actually done searches and I have the name wrong, and I spent an entire afternoon. Well, not an entire afternoon, but it's like you're looking for. Literally that actually happened to me. I was looking for the heat is on, and it was heat of the moment or something like that. It had heat in it, but it was two totally different songs. That's not quite the thing, but it was something similar to that. Gary Gibbons is geek, and I'm Fuzzy Bear. Oh, that's so cute. And Justin says, Boss Gags sounds like Kermit. Danger, there's a breakdown dead ahead. And surely you're in way over your head. Life may burn. Life may get you. But just know I'll never let you down. And that was the best Kermit the Frog I could do on such short notice, particularly when doing Boss Gags. Daryl Jones says, Bob. Daryl, other brother, how are you doing, my man? Tug says, I was searching just some of the lyrics and a lot of other things to try to nail it down, but nada. One thing is, did anyone else pick up a Matrix vibe off of it? You know, where they're wearing the suits and all that. I wonder if the guys who did the Matrix were kind of inspired by it. And what was the name of that show? It was a post-apocalyptic sci-fi kid show where they actually sold a laser gun, and the kids could fire it at the screen during battle sequences. And apparently bad guys lit up and they feel like they were actually in the battle. And did I imagine this? I was in college at the time, but I remember we talked about it in my marketing class. But moving forward, Melissa Foster is here, and she says hi, Thrash Pondo, and to all, says hello as well. Wajabin says Emily Miller, when my LOL passed, I didn't cry either. I had to be strong for my other family. I cried much later. Even the pain is still what helps is knowing my mom would want me to move. Um, no, I have a story about my grandfather, and I just can't bring myself to tell it. We'll save this for that one for another time. But Wajimeen, I couldn't agree with you more. You're right, and that's one thing you should always keep with you. These people that you've lost would not want you to be sad, would they? So do everything you can to honor that wish. Anyone says, Tug, I'm going to investigate. Wish me luck. Luck! And a lot of people saying hello to one another. Emily says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring everybody down. No, no. Actually, if anything, you made some very endearing points. Like I say, it's no one's fully dead until they're forgotten. And you helped us remember. Thank you, Emily. Good luck, Indy from Tug. Oh, Nostalgic Pod bless you here says hello. Chance, so glad you could make it. I love that photo of you with George Takai. I love that. Oh my god, what were you 14 when that picture was taken? It's so funny that I actually in '84 I met George Takai myself. Didn't get a personalized photo of him like you did, but I got to meet him. Super, super sweet guy. And Brogo's here says hello, everyone. And Emily says, sorry, many hugs to Wajimeen. A lot of people saying hi to Brogu and to Chance. Harold the Hatter says, I strongly recommend their therapy and grieving and support groups. They can help with processing the loss in a healthy way. So the pain gets out and memories hurt, but not as much as the much and joy is more present. Good point. Justin says, Tug, it may have been a misspelling of the name or a European spelling. Ah, good point. Good point. Dan says, it won't go away. Memories are why we have them. My mom has been gone since 2001. She was only 61. There are still smells, sights, music, and memories. Reminds me of her. I remember her then. And you always will. And John Doe says, I lost my mom in 2018. I shed a tear before she passed, and when she left, I had a few drinks. I had no one to talk to. I did everything alone, from singing the DNR or sign of the DNR or to the funeral. It was tough. I can only imagine, John. I can only imagine. Uh, oh, I'm still pretty far behind. I'd like to think I'm catching up a little bit, but I'm still pretty far behind. Uh, there we are. I'm going to skip all the people having fellowship and saying hello to one another. And I skip down to Superlux saying, we know it's tough, Emily. Like I said, there are parents dying before children is natural. Or of things, children dying before parents is much tougher on the parents. But I know you have experienced. I told Mrs. Thrash the story of your child's funeral. I'm sorry. When you said you started laughing uncontrollably, and she she took it the same way I did. The mind, when it can't cope, sometimes does things like that. I'm sure you folks remember a few years ago there was that. Thank goodness gravy. There was the missile warning in Hawaii where the emergency network said there was a missile attack coming in. I was working overnights at the time in my now no longer present side hustle, and I started laughing uncontrollably. Like my sides hurt, like I couldn't breathe. I have an aunt and uncle who live in Hawaii. My cousin Keone also still lives in Hawaii, or was at the time, I believe. He goes back and forth, but it wasn't funny. But literally, my mind went pew, and I couldn't control my laughter. Sometimes that happens. Emily says, I appreciate that, Harold, but I really don't think that's for me unless things get bad. I'm going to skim through. Oh, Gonzo 2.0 is here. Says, hey, Thrash, and everybody dropping in to check in to see how Mrs. Thrash is doing. Mrs. Thrash is fine. I'm glad you mentioned it. Mama Thrash, my mother, we had to admit her into the hospital, but she's doing substantially better. They were able to stabilize her breathing and her blood pressure, put her on some new medications, and she's back home with us. And she wants to thank everybody for their warm wishes. Brogan says, I want to give my condolences to you, Emily, and to your family. Sorry for your loss. Well said. Gary says, I didn't know that. Jay Robinson, Dr. Shrinker, had died in 2013. I didn't know he died either. He was on at least one episode of Bewitched too. He played Caesar in that, I believe. Dan says, oh, and he was in Star Trek. The war between the two planets, the Troyans and the weird looking greenish guys. Yes. Dan says, Emily, I didn't cry when my mom died, but I do when I have thoughts of her. I cry happy tears. More than understand. I'm gonna skim down because we're way behind. A lot of people saying hi to Gonzo. Gonzo, I absolutely love the videos you've been putting out. The short animated are great. Jendo says, an abnormal word being normal is abnormal. That's the premise to I Am Legend. Couldn't agree with you more. Brentwood Injustin says the nobility of England would have snored through the Sermon on the Mount. Thomas More. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, and Gonzo likes What You Mean's channel as well. Pablo says Bobby Hart. Body Body Heat. Body Heat. No, Body Heat. That was Brian De Palma trying to do Hitchcock. Um, great movie, a little raunchy, lot of violence in it, but there is a music video in that too, by the way. Um, yeah, that's I'm trying to remember. Dennis Franz is in it. He has a small part in the front and back as a director, and Melanie Griffith. That was the movie wherein I developed a crush on Melanie Griffith. Cut me some slack. I was like 17. But I do love Body Heat. But no, Kathleen Turner was in Crimes of Passion with guy Norman Bates. Thank you, Mrs. Thrash. Anthony Hopkins. Mrs. Thrash, bit of a tummy ache. So now I think she's making herself some of her herb tea. But actually, just happened. Anthony Perkins is in Crimes of Passion. Gary Grimm says, it was, but I saw you on Dave's show today. We saw a lot of people on Dave's show. Typical says, oh no, we still got trivia. Yes, Cindy D insists I do the trivia tonight. And Emily says, yay, trivia. And Chan says, was at the Atlanta Comic Convention, Dave was live. Oh, that's why you couldn't be here today. More than understand. How was the convention? Was it good? And Len says, Tug, how many seasons was the Twilight Zone? Oh, 5? Let's go with 5. I believe there was 5. And Scott says to Gary, who did the Croft special? That's a very good question. I didn't see it either. Oh, it was 5. It was 5. Thank you. And Brogan says, I have to leave. Enjoy the stream and enjoy coming every week. This is the way. Brogu, thanks for stopping in. Love having you. Sorry I wasn't able to read your comments in a more timely fashion. But as always, you guys are wonderful with the fellowships. Says connected Brogu. And John Doe says, I still can't watch the Honeymooners because it was my mom's favorite show, but I'm working on it. That actually happens. Some mental associations are just too uber cray cray. So yeah, I can certainly see that. A lot of people saying bye to Broku. Oh, Gary mentioned BBB. Oh, did BBB do the Croft show? Or was she at the Croft show? Or is she here now? Either way, thanks. John Doe says at Thrash, and an at Thrash to you too, my man. And Tug says, yes, very much like Mr. Smith. Oh, the pain, the pain. And John Doe says, Captain Power, John for the win. Yes, Captain Power and the soldiers of the future. Thank you. Like I said, I was in college, so I wasn't watching a lot of afternoon TV at the time. But I do remember they talked about that in my marketing class. It was said that TV was getting out of hand. They were actually shows that you actually needed equipment in order to watch, and that was considered unfair. Chan says it was Teletubbies. That will haunt me. Melissa says Dave's live stream was great, Lance. It was a surprise live stream open to everyone. Yes, today's was indeed. John Doe says the guy who created Captain Power also created Babylon 5. There's a bell ringing in my head. Thank you. There's a bell ringing in my head. Len says, I'm the only wrench here. Yeah, you're right. I don't see Sarah and I don't see Danny. A lot of people haven't been getting my. Oh, nope, there he is. There he is. Oh, I am listening, just dealing with stuff. Well, Danny, so glad you're here and glad you're listening. Oh, and I love that video you had with the puppies earlier. That's awesome. And I'm just gonna scroll down because we are way. Oh, I almost caught up. But I'm gonna have to kind of scroll through. Oh, Keith says hello, Gary, Z, and everybody else. Like number 8. Like number 8, we can do way better than that. 18 people and only 9 likes. Come on, people. Come on, people. Oh, Individual Minds is here. Says Ayo, Lance, and Dan and the Braid Wooden. Oh, and by the way, I'm starting to get back the other day. Individual Minds, I have not seen a Pink Floyd in a live show. Getting back to you. I meant to get back to the other day. I just got sidetracked. But welcome to tonight's show, by the way. So glad you could make it. Yeah, where is Sarah now that everybody mentions it? She might be doing her own thing. She's been very busy as late. And what do you mean says, well said, Thrash. And I'm going to scroll down through because I'm almost caught up. Melissa Foster says, it takes time. Emily, I lost my gram in September 2021. I cried and felt a little lost, but I figured as long as I have memories of her, she's never truly gone. Exactly. Dan says, trivia time. Almost. I'll get to the bottom of the scroll, I promise, and then we will have trivia time. I promise. A lot of people are having a fellowship with one another, so I'm going to skim down through that. Again, hello, Individual Minds. Welcome to the party. If anyone's talking to us, Sister Sarah, tell her I said hi. Oh, and again, by the way, anyone who goes to BB&B, please tell Chrissy I am so sorry. I missed your live stream when it was live. I did catch the replay, and I'm sorry I didn't get to see it when it was live. And I'm just going to scroll down through. Braywood says Don Johnson developed a crush on Melanie Griffith when he was 14, which is a bit weird. Yeah. Yes, it is a bit weird. They did a movie together or something. I forget the story. If I remember correctly, it's kind of a gross story. He had a lot of gross stories. Don Johnson did so. But good point. And Teb is here. Drill Eugene Bellinger. Hello to you too, Teb. So glad you could make it. And I'm scrolling down because Lisa Fields is here. It says hi, Thresh. Hi everyone, I'm here. So glad to see you. Music Girl 67 is here. I'm late. I'm late. Very important date, which is why I'm always at these live streams. I tried to take an hour nap. It turned into an hour and a half. Hoping everyone has a beautiful Sunday. You're actually in perfect time because I'm behind. So, Liza, so glad you can make it. I'm going to start the trivia as soon as I get to the bottom of this page. Tim says, which Norman Lear sitcom from the 1970s do you prefer so much better? All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Maude, Good Times, Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, Archie Bunker's Place. Jeffersons was always my favorite. Love the Jeffersons. I would from there I'd go All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Good Times, Maude, One Day at a Time, Archie Bunker's Place would round out the top group. Chances I texted Sarah, she's on the phone. No problem, no problem. I'm sure she'll be here in good time. Glad she's doing okay. It looks like it's all in the family. Emily Miller says to Liza, you're always on time if you get here before Bob catches up in the chat. Individual says it was great. It was my first online birthday. LOL. Oh, very glad it was a good time, by the way. And again, tell her I'm so sorry I missed it. Individual Minds goes on to say, All in the Family, a show before my time, but it was great. Indeed, it is. I'm gonna skip down. Music Girl says, "Hey there." She's saying hello to everyone. It's great to see everyone. I missed a few on Dave's live stream earlier. Individual Mind says, "Oh, not my birthday." LOL. It was BBB's birthday. She turned 50. Oh yeah. At first, I thought you meant that show you did, that live stream you were doing, was for your birthday. Then I remember you were talking about being on BBB's birthday live stream. So yeah, I caught that. Next time you talk to BBB, tell her I am sorry that wasn't there, as I will myself next time I talk to her as well, because I wanted to be there. It was her second live stream too, and I was so sorry I missed the first one. Jen says Don Johnson gave his daughter Dakota pointers when she was researching 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know what that means. Yeah, you're probably right. John Doe says, seen Godzilla Kong yet? As for me, I'm not planning to see it. No, actually, I haven't seen it. I never get to the theaters. And is she here? I heard someone say Sarah, my flock. Well, Sister Sarah, if you're here, welcome. And a lot of people are saying hi to, well, people are just saying hi to everyone. Yes, she is here. My flock says hi, Pawns, and hi to you as well. And Pablo says he was on a comedy show last night. And is BBB here? I didn't see her pop in. Chrissy, if you're here from Brain Benders and Banter, welcome to. Oh yes, she is here. Thank you, because I have a personal apology I want to give you personally. I had to work late last night. I didn't get to your live stream. I saw it in replay. Happy birthday, belated, Chrissy. I'm very, very sorry. I will make it to one of your Saturday Night live streams very soon. This weekend was, of course, it was the last weekend of school vacation here in Massachusetts. So the restaurant stayed busy later. I don't think we're going to be that busy next Saturday. So if you do another live stream next Saturday, color me there, mon frere. And on that, I have to start the trivia because it's 8:09 and Dan has asked feverishly, or feverishly asked. And of course, today's trivia is going to be on the Love Boat. Special request by friend of Chandel, Cindy DD. She unfortunately had another commitment tonight. She had a church function, but says she'll watch a replay. She insisted I go ahead and do it tonight, and therefore do it I will. Oh, and Brain Benders and Brain Benders Banter goes on at 6 o'clock her time every Saturday, which I'm guessing is California time. It's 9 o'clock my time, which is why I should be able to make it. So it'll be 9 o'clock thrash time. So subtract 3, and there you go. Oh, and by the way, Dan, do me a favor. Can you maybe drop a few links for BB&B, for Sister Sarah, for Wajimeen, for Gonzo's out there, for the Nostalgic Pod Blasts? What the heck? Links for everyone. But anyway, without further, I'm going to start with the trivia. And as always, I will start in no particular order. The trusty ship featured in the series was what? A. The Pacific Princess. B. The Atlantic Annie. C. The Island Queen. Or D. The Wilhelm Gustav. I shall repeat. The trusty ship featuring in the series, the Love Boat that is, was what? A. The Pacific Princess. B. The Atlantic Annie. C. The Island Queen. Or D. The Wilhelm Gustav. Individual minds love it. Actually, for you New Englanders out there, or people who are big on New England history, the very famous ferry between Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard was the Island Queen, and they had their own precious little jingle, which for some reason was like a calypso number. Sail away from Falmouth, sail away on the Island Queen, sail away from Falmouth, sail away on the Island Queen, which is funny because Cape Cod isn't exactly a Caribbean location, but I guess they figured to give the place character. But yeah, the actual answer is A. Oh, and Sister Sarah's actually dropping the links. Sister Sarah, thank you ever so much. Oh, that's right. Danny said he had his hands full. So, Sarah, if you'll keep dropping links, I will be eternally grateful. And moving on now to question 9. Question 9. This former cast member went on to become a very successful U.S. congressman. Was it A. Gavin McLeod, B. Ted Lang, C. Fred Grandy, or D. Bernie Koppel? I shall repeat. This former cast member went on to become a very successful U.S. congressman. Was it A. Gavin McLeod, B. Ted Lang, C. Fred Grandy, or D. Bernie Koppel? John Doe says Michael Winslow. Yes, for those of you playing at home, which is everyone because you're not at my house, but if you come up with a creative, bizarre answer, give yourself credit. There's no wagering here, so there's no real way to cheat. But Winslow, Michael Winslow was of course the guy who did the beatboxer champion in the Police Academy movies. And did I see? Yes, he is here. Dave Sundstrom is here. Dave, woo, woo, woo. Dave is here, and he's just in time to play along with the last 8/10 of my trivia game. And the correct answer in this case was C. Fred Grandy, U.S. Congressman from Iowa. I almost said Idaho, so I could do my own private Idaho joke, but he was not from Idaho. He was from another one of those I states. You could say the eyes have it. And of course, a lot of people saying hi to Dave, as do am I. Question 8. Gopher's de facto stepdad was played by this game show icon. Was it A. Gene Rayburn, B. Jack Barry, C. Peter Marshall, or D. Alan Ludden? I shall repeat. Gopher's de facto stepdad was played by this game show icon. A. Gene Rayburn, B. Jack Barry, C. Peter Marshall, or D. Alan Ludden? And I'm just going to skim down here. This question apparently was tougher than I thought. Tug says Richard Dawson. Oh, wouldn't that be? Alan Funt. Love it, love it, love it. A lot of people are saying Alan. I'm guessing they mean actually Alan Ludden. Oh, Zubik says Ted Bundy. A lot of people guessing Alan Ludden. Gonna give a couple more answers. Yeah, some of you are actually getting the correct answer was actually in this case, the correct answer was A, Gene Rayburn. For Match Game, he actually had a small number of acting roles as well. I think a lot of people said C because Peter Marshall did at least one episode I can think of. There was one where he played a skeevy beauty pageant judge. And I think he did I think he did a couple episodes because if you look at the IMBD, a lot of people had recurring characters in the Love Boat, but a lot of them played three or four different characters. They just kept bringing them back to play different parts. So, Musical says, "Ooh, my first incorrect answer." Chen says that Deliberate Stranger TV miniseries in 1986 with Mark Harmon has as Ted Bundy was freaky. I don't recall that one, but it does. It sounds freaky. But the correct answer was A, Gene Rayburn, who, as I'm sure you all know the story, when he retired to Cape Cod. And my grandmother, who lived on Cape Cod, bumped into him in a CVS. He held the door for her, and she goes, "Aren't you Gene Rayburn?" And he said, "Why, yes, I am." And they chatted for probably 30 seconds. And to the day she died, to the day she lost her lucidity, I should say, she told that story as if they were in the war together. It was weird. She like made it sound like she and Gene Rayburn were buds. Um, I didn't know Alvaro was in the Love Boat, John. Thank you. Um, Zublik says Mark Harmon was creepy. Trying to think, Mark Harmon from St. Elsewhere? Quite possibly, quite possibly. But anyway, moving on to question seven. Moving on to question seven. Gavin McLeod reunited with this other Mary Tyler Moore Show alum during the series run. Was it A, Mary Tyler Moore, B, Ted Knight, C, Ed Asner, or D, Richard Shaw? And I shall repeat. Gavin McLeod reunited with this other MTV show alum during the series run. Was it A, Mary Tyler Moore, B, Ted Knight, C, Ed Asner, or D, Richard Shaw? I'm just going to let people trickle in. It's funny, a lot of you are giving the answer that Mrs. Thrash gave. And it's probably the most likely. Um, John does Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant was on the Mary Tyler Moore show. Kill to see that. Let's just see. Derek Abrams says Pod Blast. Fanny Flagg's real name was Patricia Neal. I didn't know that. No, I did not know that. I did not know that. That is an awesome fact of funness. And I see a lot of you. I'm gonna give another second or two. Yeah, okay. A lot of people are saying Ed Asner. And that's what Mrs. Thrash said, and I guess that's a really good answer. But it was actually Ted Knight, and it was in possibly the most politically incorrect episode they ever did. It was the one where they go to Japan, and you can use your imagination. For those of you who remember it, I remember seeing it as a kid, going, "Wow!" There's one scene where it's like a mockery of Shogun, and they all dress up in these like mock traditional Japanese garb and use really really unconvincing Japanese accents, and it cringe. And all I can think of is nowadays. Well, that didn't age well. But moving forward, we'll do number six, and then I want scores, preferably good ones. But Ted McGinley was not in the later seasons of this past its prime TV series. Was it A, Love Boat, B, Happy Days, C, Married with Children, or D, Welcome Back, Cotter? and I shall repeat. Ted McGinley was not in the later seasons of this past its prime TV series. Was it A. Love Boat, B. Happy Days, C. Married with Children, or D. Welcome Back, Carter? Tug says The Simpsons technically correct. Yes, but it wasn't one of the choices. But you know what? Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit. Bosom Buddies. No, he was not on Bosom. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wait. No, Ted McGinley was in an episode of Bosom Buddies. Uh, he has a date with Donna Dixon, and he and Tom Hanks get into a very silly Bridget Jones level fight, which Tom manages to somehow lose. And then he wants to put a steak on his eye because he has an egg on the eye. But the only thing in the fridge is a dead crab. So he's walking around town with a crab on his face. Oh, Daryl Johnson is one of one. Well, you didn't know what you. I guess you're just guessing that you didn't know this one. Yes, it's Welcome Back, Carter, and I actually have a fun fact about that. But no, he was never on Welcome Back, Carter, contrary to the beliefs of some. But yeah, we'll go with scores. Daryl Johnson is one of one. Uh, Christopher got three right. Um, Gary Carpenter says 67, no problem. Emily Miller says Ted was also in Greece. He was? I'll take your word for it. Ted was Rid of the Nerds. Yes, he was. Emily Miller is actually, it's actually 5 of 5 because I haven't had 6 questions yet. Jublix is 4 of 5. Dan is 4 of 6. Why is everyone saying 6? David is 3 of 4 because I guess he missed the first one. Wajimine is 4 of 5. Emily Miller is 4 of 5. Tug says, thanks, Sarah. I've got to get on your channel. Me too. Me too. I don't know. If the offer's still open, I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm this past week been a crazy week. And I'm not trying to like throw my mother under a bus. God knows she has enough health problems. But no, this week was kind of a week. Gary Carpenter is 6 of 6. All right, fine. We've had 6 questions. Music Girl says, be sure to hit the like button, gang, please. 22 people in the chat and only 8 likes. You do much better. John Doe is 15 of 90. Oh, wow, you're keeping the score week after week after week, apparently, I see. Chen says, the country guy who was added when Travolta left looked like Ted, and I'm so glad you brought that up. His name was actually Stephen Shortridge. Stephen Shortridge. And in an interview, he actually referenced the fact that people used to mistake him for Ted McGinley and said, "Oh yeah, you were on." He goes, "No, I wasn't." For years, I thought he was on. That was him on Welcome Back, Kotter, Ted McGinley, but no, it was Stephen Shortridge, and they were almost indiscernible under a microscope. And Lisa Fields is 4 of 5, and Melissa is 3 of 5. That's a pretty poor percentage, John. Um, and so, Ahu, I'm now going to move on to question 5. This Happy Days alum never appeared on the Love Boat. A. Ron Howard, B. Aaron Moran, C. Tom Bosley, or D. Miriam Ross. BBB says Hearts was Keith, etc. I assume you mean our good friend Keith E. Keith E. is Hearts, etc. And a blessing for all of us. So I will read your shout out. I guess Keith was here. Was Keith here tonight? I could have sworn I said hi to him. If Keith wasn't here, Keith E, shout out to you, my brother. I could have sworn I saw you here. If not, maybe I'm remembering you from Dave's show. So far today, I've been on, well, just in the chat columns, but Tug show, Dave show, and now my show. So yes, Keith E definitely deserves an out of shout. Oh, and by the way, yes, Jim's camera at dawn says greeting everyone. Jim's camera at dawn, you're just in time to play the last part of my trivia game. We're doing Love Boat trivia. And excuse me, I'm parched. Refreshing. Yeah. Even Thrash gets a dry throat, Tug. And we'll just see. Oh, you're batting 1,000. Musical says you're batting 1,000, Tug. Emily says it was adorable when Mr. and Mrs. C met on the Love Boat. Well, that narrows it down. And BB&B says Jim's is one of the best. Team Jim. Oh, does Jim have his own channel? My flock, please drop Jim a link if he has a channel. I'm always willing, able, and hopeful to help another YouTube creator. Keith says, I'm here. He is here. Good. Nothing wrong with my memory, at least not to my recollection. And I believe I've caught up. Oh, and Shen says to Chrissy, happy belated 50th birthday. Yes, Chrissy. And everyone, please wish Chrissy from, hang on. Yeah, I'm just trying to, I call her BBB, but it's Brain Bender's Banter. Brain Bender's Banter. Because her show, I always want to say Bender Brains for some reason, but it's Brains Bender Banter. I just did it again. Brains Bender. Brain Bender's Banter. Said it 5 times fast. Because most of her channel is fun little games and brain teasers and things God knows my mind needs. I finally got it. I finally said it right. She says BB and B is fine. Yeah, thank you, Chrissy. But I want people to be able to find your channel too, by the way. Although I have a pretty safe bet everybody in my chat tonight is more than familiar with your content page. But thank you for letting me off the hook. Did I say it was Ron Howard? Yes, it was Ron Howard. Which baffled me. I actually went through his IMDb twice because I could have sworn he was on there, but no, he's pretty much on everything else but that. But moving forward, number four. This shameless cash grab coattail series was set in a Hawaiian resort. And in case you wonder why I say coattail series meaning it was modeled after the Love Boat. Was it A, Aloha Paradise, B, Island Sun, C, Waikiki Racers, or D, the Diamond Head game? I shall repeat. I'll try to repeat it. This shameless cash grab coattail series was set in a Hawaiian resort. Was it A, Aloha Paradise, B, Island Sun, C, Waikiki Racers, or D, the Diamond Head game? And John, good guess, but Acapulco is on the other side. My Flock says good times. Yes, they were good times. Zugel says Fantasy Island. We're all swinging wild. Kevin's got 76 here, and he says Fantasy Island. Love it. Good guess, but wrong with its rich Corinthian leather. Dan says Honolulu hippies. I love it. BBB says, laugh my A off. Jims, you have me cracking up. And again, Jims, thank you for joining the party this eve. Appreciate Ted. And Tug says Lost. That's a good guess. Jim says Hotel. You guys have some great guesses. They're not applicable, but Gary Carpenter says Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now that I can say. Oh, by the way, not one of you commented on my Kermit the Frog impression. Not one of you. My barely adequate emotional defenses are crumbling. I crave positive reinforcement, people. You know, I'll let it go this time. Individual says, "Okay, my phone must have lagged because people have guessed already." Haha, that happens. People have actually had to stop playing. Oh my God, Tracy's here. It says Tug, Tracy. And what is your guess? You didn't have a guess? No, she kind of popped in and left again. I'm afraid. Jumbo says Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Ew. Uh, oh, Jim's giving us some pizza icons. Kevin says Hate Island. Zublik says Devil's Island. Dan says it's not Hawaii 5-0. It's BBB 5-0. Da 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 da. Zublik says Martha's Vineyard. No, that's where they filmed Jaws. Da, 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 da. BB&B says Team Thrash, Kermit, go Thrash, you nailed it. We're here to support. Kermit has nothing on you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't even think you were here when I did the Kermit the Frog impression. But anyone who could sell kudos that wholeheartedly is worth an air high five. Air high fives to you, BB and B. And Sarah says giggle to BBB. And Lee Mateus is here. Boom. What we do here is go back. Lee Mateus is here, and he says, hope you're having a good night, Thrash. God bless. No, God bless you, by the way. Sarah, please drop a link here to Lee Mateus. He's posting new content on his content page. Dan, you would love his wrestling stuff. You would absolutely love his wrestling stuff. And to you music buffs out there, he does these music breakdowns. They're amazing. And BB says I was good. You know what? I figured you were, but just in case, because you know what, like Keith and Dan, a lot of the people are here and they're just not in the comments section. So I usually say hi to them when I see them in the content. You know, it's like, oh, hey, when did you get here? And they're like, I've been here the whole time. Well, so I just assume you show up. Is that a fly on my hat? Or did the hallucinogenics kick in? But anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. And let's just see what else. An individual man says, you gave me an idea for my channel when I go live. I want to do music trivia once a week. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to take the trivia questions. And if you want some submissions, I would be happy to help. And BB Min says, OMG, so you did so good at Kermit. Mrs. Piggy is looking you up on the Tinder. I've done worse. And the answer is Zubulux. I'm sorry. I was so busy having fun. Oh, and I have to read Gary Carpenter's got one here. Hawaii and Magnum P.I., Charlie's Angels, Hardy Boys, and the Jeffersons. Sam & Son filmed several episodes there. Brady Bunch did the very famous 3-part episode with Vincent Price. Aloha Paradise. It actually only lasted a couple years, but it was literally a carbon copy cutout of the Love Boat. Only instead of going from port to port, people just came to them. It was part of that whole Hawaii Renaissance where they were the Department of Tourism was trying to get people to go there by filming TV shows there. Question 3. Thank you, Superplex, for keeping us on track. Chin says, I bet Thrash Pondo's restaurant would have given BBB gratis dessert. Gratis dessert and my new favorite appetizer, as I'm sure you guys know, our cheesy Italian garlic cheesy bread is absolutely Yumsville. We now have a Gorgonzola cheesy bread, which is even cheesier. I pushed for the Gouda cheesy bread so I could say that it is even Gouda. But they went with the Gorgonzola as well. Oh, and our fried lasagna sticks are out of this world. Welcome, Dano. BBB says, I thought it was an epic compliment. It was, and it was well accepted, and I thank you. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're amazing, BB&B. Thank you. Emily says, "I Dream of Jeannie" was there. Yes, and that was actually her husband at the time, who played Chief. And I'm not even going to try to say the name because I want to butcher it. Because my cousin Keone will be hurt if I mispronounce it. But yeah, he's in that as well. But anyway, we're getting off topic. Oh, Dave says Debbie Reynolds was the star of Aloha Paradise. She certainly was. She certainly was. And and speaking of my Dream of Jeannie, um, I'm so ashamed of myself. I can't think of his name. The guy who played the best friend. He was later on the Newhart show, the one set in Chicago where he's a psychiatrist. I would know his name like a shot if I heard it. He's in Aloha Paradise as well. But Chenza sounds delicious. It's really good. It's really, you can feel your arteries clogging while you're eating it, but it's really good. Melissa says, I have a YouTube channel that showcases our fur babies. Oh, little kitties. Kitties. And BBB says, I can cook. We need to have a family reunion midway in stated so we can share foods. A capital idea. I actually had a cooking show back in the days of local access TV. I actually had a cooking show. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Oh, you do. You do competition barbecue? Crazy, crazy. Gary Cabra says, "Okay, I'll try it. I'll try it." King Kamehameha. I think I said that right. If I didn't, Keone, please forgive me. And Ameli Kalikimaka to you. And Dave says, "Yep, Bill." Emily says, "Bill." That's it, Chance. And I'm guessing he gave the full name, Bill Haley. Bill Haley. John Orchard is here. John says, Thrash, how about this week? No worries. John, definitely, definitely. I promise. The weekend flew by. We both kind of had our hands full. Congratulations on the new great granddaughter, by the way. But I will give you a call at some point this week, if for no reason than to set up a better time to call. But I really should get to question 3. So I'm just gonna dig in. Question 3 is, the Pacific Princess once trekked to this out of character locale wherein Julie pursued her one true love. Was it A, Alaska, B, Vancouver Island, C, Patagonia, or D, Soviet Russia? I shall repeat. The Pacific Princess once trekked to this out of character locale wherein Julie pursued her one true love. Was it A, Alaska, B, Vancouver Island, C, Patagonia? I just like saying Patagonia. Here, I'll prove it. Patagonia, Patagonia, Patagonia. Or D, Soviet Russia. In Soviet Russia, both next to you. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Yeah, Yakov Smirnov, but I don't know where the quip came from. John Orchard says Patagonia, Russia. Oh, they're expanding again, aren't they? Don't get me started. But ooh, some people actually did say Patagonia. Oh, Gary said Bill Daly. I said Bill Haley, didn't I? I don't know. I think Haley's comments, I believe. I don't know. But Bill Haley in the comments. But Bill Daly. Bill Daly is, I believe, the correct answer. A lot of people saying B, but no, the correct answer in this case, the book says, "Oh, those Russians, oh, those crazy Russians with their ruthless, expansive policies." And I'm sorry, that's dangerous and close to politics. Sorry, but anyway, A, Alaska. She goes to Alaska, and things do not go well for her in the show and in reality. And number 2, this Woody Allen favorite plays Julie's one. I didn't read that right. I'll come in again. This Woody Allen favorite plays Julie's the one that got away love, Jack Chenault. Was it A, Fred Melamed, B, Tony Roberts, C, Wallace Shawn, or D. Alan Alda? And I shall repeat. Well, I'll try to. This Woody Allen favorite plays Julie's the one that got away, love, Jack Chenault. Was it A. Fred Melamed, B. Tony Roberts, B. C. Rather, not another B. C. Wallace Shawn, or D. Alan Alda? Johnny Orchard said Alaska is close to Alaska. Yes, Alaska is very close to Alaska. Oh, face to face. Face to face here says, I'm sorry, face the ace. It jumped as I was trying to read it. I'm sorry. Face the ace is here and says, my flock, how you doing? And says hello to Jim. Face the ace, welcome to the chat. We're almost done with trivia. It was Love Boat Trivia tonight, by the way. But we're very glad you could make it. Welcome to the party. Any friend of Sister Sarah is a friend of ours. B&B says, question, what singer has had a Billboard #1 hit in each of the last 4 decades? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Emily Miller says Madonna. So we're talking the 20s, the teens, the zeros, and the 90s. So that'd have to be someone still alive. I'm going to say Beyonce. That's my guess. My guess is going to be Beyonce. And, Cher. Cher. Liza has a good guess with Cher. Very good. Very good. I'll keep a lookout there. Anywho, the correct answer was B, Tony Roberts. And we're on the home stretch, people. The #1 question is, this actress, this is the connection between Aloha Paradise and the Love Boat. This actress went from Aloha Paradise to the Love Boat to play Judy McCoy, Julie's sister. A. Pat Priest, B. Pat Klaus, C. Jenny Lee Harrison, or D. Jerry Rochelle? And I shall repeat. This actress went from Aloha Paradise to the Love Boat to play Judy McCoy, Julie's sister. Is it A. Pat Priest, B. Pat Close, C. Jenny Lee Harrison, or D. Jerry Rochelle? John does his Kelly Bundy. She'd be very young at that time. BB Mariah Carey. Oh, thank you. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. Yeah, her first album was in the early 90s, wasn't it? Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So it says Charo. Charo. And Dave guessed B, which is the correct answer. Pat Close. 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 I think it's like German. Pat Close. And okay, so now we can get some scores. And John Doe says it's definitely not Spock. Yes, you are right. Music Girl says, is Aloha movie any good? Second time asking Bobby. Is Aloha the movie? Sorry, that was the second time. It's tricky for me when I do the trivia. I didn't see the Aloha movie, so I can't say one way or the other. So sorry, and I'm trying to make you repeat yourself. Jim Cameron Don says Maria Carey car alarm. And Jen says cocaine got the best of Lauren Hughes, Julie McCoy, and she was fired by Aaron Spelling, but returned for the very last cruise/movie. Oh, Dave is 8 of 9. My Flux says Emily, LOL, right? Zubik says early 90s was only 3 decades ago. No, we have the 20s, the teens, the aughts, and the 90s. That's 4 decades. The aughts. Dan is 6 of 10. Pablo says Lauren twos. Yes, you're right. That's the correct name. I knew the other one didn't sound it, but yes, you are correct. Gary Carpenter says Jeremy Brett was on the Love Boat. I don't recall, but I'll take your word for it. Emmy Miller's 8 of 10. Zublix is 7 for 10. I think that's a record for you. Christopher is 5 of 10. Very good. Pablo is only 1 of 10 because you gave me a freebie. Really? I did? How generous of me. Not a Love Boat fan, huh? Keith E says 8 out of 10 still listening. So glad to hear that, my friend. Melissa Foster is 7 of 10. Some people are still giving answers. So you're both right. Let's see your scores. Tracy says, I will do this quiz in repeat. Very good. Let me guess, you're doing two things at once, aren't you? Many people do that. Mike and Kathy, how you doing? Just got here for one, so you are 100% of what you did get. Music Girl says thrash, okie dokie. So let's ask Dave. Dave knows everything. Yes, Dave. How was the Aloha movie, please? And a lot of people saying hi to Mike and Kathy. Gary Carpenter is 9 of 10. Lisa Fields is 9 for 10. John Doe says, I can count from 1 to potato. You say potato, and I say potato. Music Girl is 9 for 10. I can't believe it, but I have to admit I copied a few answers. Please don't hate me. I'm so ashamed. Oh, we've all cheated in trivia. I've cheated on trivia questions that I knew the answer to. Tab was 10 for 10. Excellent. Tug says, I prefer the Poseidon Adventure. Face the A says, shout out to my flock. You can't give too many shout outs to Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah is awesome. Inspiration to us all. Gary Carpenter says, to 67, you're fine, my dear. Chen says, of course, you are a perfect scorer to Teb. Yes, he generally is. A lot of people saying hi to Mike and Kathy. Dave says, Music Girl, you know way more than me when it comes to music. She knows way more than everyone when it comes to music. Individual Mind says, I'm on a winter streak of the losing, but I'm enjoying. LOL. I'm very glad you enjoyed. These are all for fun, so just participating is welcome to us. Chan says, "What was the answer to the BBB question?" Oh, Mariah Carey. And a lot of people saying hello to one another. Tug says, if you're going to cheat, crib off Indy's answers. Yeah, no kidding. Where is Indy? I haven't seen him in a few minutes. Well, it says, not bad for watching Love Boat in years. For not watching Love Boat in years. I know, right? Memory Lane. Zipley says, what happened to Lance? Good question. I haven't seen him in a while. John Doe says, it's only cheating if you get caught. Amen to that, my brother. Gary Carpenter says, Geek, I've seen that movie 4 times, but it's been ages since I've seen The Towering Inferno and Earthquake. I haven't seen those in forever. What was the disaster movie set in Hawaii? The Day the World Ended? About the volcano blowing up? And Ted says, hope you have a good night. See you next week on the stream. On next week's stream. Yeah, Tab, thank you very, very much for joining us. Thank you for your little ice-breaking questions. Always great to have you. Oh, I saw a great icebreaker the other day. And actually, I'm going to, Individual Minds, I have to borrow this from you. So before I spit it out, I have to say I'm going to shamelessly borrow from your channel. Individual Minds was talking, and he says, what's your go-to song? What song just you hear it and you go, that song's me. That song's always been around. That song means something to me. Mine was American Pie by Don McLean. But if anybody wants to throw out theirs in the last few minutes of tonight's chat, please do. And Individual Minds, thank you for letting me shamelessly steal from your channel. Tug says to Gary, I haven't seen any of them in years, but I watched The Poseidon Adventure a lot when I was younger. Poseidon Adventure is one of my favorite disaster movies. But Tug, we're gonna give the game away. Chen says, Len says Wi-Fi issues. Oh, that sucks. Mike and Kelly says can't Google fast enough. To cheat. Ozark says, "Good night, Mr. Sunstrom." I guess Dave is saying good night. Night, Dave. Thank you. It's always an honor when you're on my live streams. Liza says, "Nighty night, Dave. Have a great week. See you next Sunday, buddy." A lot of people saying nighters. John Doe says, "Joe versus the volcano." That's a good one too. We could have made tonight's whole show on Hawaii in entertainment. Gary Carter says, "I haven't seen Airport 77 in ages." Is that the one with Karen Black? Is that like the best one? Because yeah, I remember that one as well. Oh, Tug says, "What time to Sarah?" Sarah's dropping links. Um, oh, Andy says, "No worries." Thank you. So nice of you to let me borrow your question. It was a great question. It really was. I'm just gonna. Jen says, "Rambling Man is my theme tune." All right. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Lord, I was born a rambling man. John Orchard says, "Triumph, fight the good fight." Okay. And Mine says, "Yes, I said it came to my head when you commented it." Yeah, when I mentioned it to him, he goes, "Yeah," like it was a good selection. There's no real wrong answers, but it's like you have to think like what song really just sort of you know. And Christopher says, "I like the song On Top of the World by Karen Carpenter." Tug says, "Sarah, I'll be there if I'm done with the transvestite from Pennsylvania." Jim says, "Bob Seger, Roll Me Away." It was so hard for me to not say Night Moves by Bob Seger. I love Night Moves by Bob Singer. The truth of it is, um, it just American Pie was just there. Like from when I was a little kid, my dad and I we would go to this restaurant and it had little individual jukeboxes on the table, and sometimes he would play Creedence Clearwater, sometimes he would play something by the Beatles. But when he played American Pie, that was just our theme. It says bop 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 bop. Mike says, and Kathy says the second airport was the best. Is that the one with Karen Black? Emily says Superplex. I love that song. So much energy. I miss Superplex song. I'm gonna have to scroll back for no other reason than to find out what song Superplex. Oh, it was Bop. It's the discussion. Turn the page. Bob Seger. That's another. Bob Seger was like the the voice of our generation. It seems. So yeah, I'll buy that. Tracy says check and see Elizabeth. A lot of people have love for bop 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 bop. Um, Leslie says got a fever of 103. So it's Hot Blooded by Foreigner. I loved Foreigner when I was a kid. I really did. Um, Individual Mind says, yeah, it's those catchy Carrie on Lifetime songs. I'll buy that. And Emily Miller says, Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac describes me pretty well, I guess. I thought it was I think more Blue Lamp. For some reason, I think Blue Lamp, but that's only because it's about witchcraft. But Gypsy works. Tracy says, "Come on, baby, you could do more than dance." Gary Cameron says, "One of those airport movies had Gloria Swanson." Really? I don't. A lot of people asking, "Musical feel better?" Very kind of you. Sister Sarah says, "Jefferson Starship, my song." I saw them live. I saw them live in like 84, 85. TV says All the Young Dudes by Moat and the Hopple. Jen says the first 45 record I had was Billy Don't Be a Hero. Awful song. And then Tammy by the Bee Gees. Billy Don't Be a Hero. It's an awful song. Billy Don't Be a Hero. Don't be a fool with your life. Da-da-dan-dan, da-da-dan. I love that song. But to own their each. Zublik says, I always thought it was Bob Dylan. The gathering people where I did like his song Rolling Stone. Emily says Foreigner's awesome. John Doe says Turn the Page by Metallica is a deep cut. Every time I think Metallica, I can't get past one. One is my favorite song by Metallica, and always shall be. Chances 404 was a fun album. It certainly was. And he says, Turn the Page by him and nobody else can do it. Liza says, Thrash, you got it, Bobby. Mine is Hot Blooded. Very great song, great album. Zubik says, Blowing in the Wind, dude. Gary says, I love to hear CCR and ABBA. ABBA had some great music as well. I do love CCR. I really, really love CCR. My father got me into them when I was a kid. Oh, Liza says, Witchy Woman to Emily. Yeah, why not? That's a great one. And Andy Spout says to Chance, Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods. Not sure which song we're talking about now. Please elaborate, but apparently it's correct because Chance says yes. Again, if you always want trivia, go to Indie Spouts. Zublik says, just shows how old I am, how old we all are. Gary says to Z, Peter, Paul, and Mary loved them. They were good. Indie Spout says, Blue Lamp, I've got to buy you another album to go along with your heavy metal soundtrack. Indie for the win. Yes. And that was actually my favorite. At one point, that was my favorite song on that album, by the way. And it's only in the movie for like 30 seconds. But I did love Blue Lamp. And but that's not the only song that I loved by Fleetwood Mac. Mine says, are we talking about Fleetwood? Well, we're talking about Stevie Nicks specifically, but yes, Fleetwood Mac, um, in a more broader sense. And Tracy says mine is Tracy by the Cufflinks. And Music Girl jumped off the page, says Gary, I saw a license plate that said I love ABBA. I want it so bad. Mike and Kathy say I saw Foreign in Seattle Center back when. Whoa, that is awesome sauce. Mine says just know songs my son's song is Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, I remember Eye of the Tiger. That was a pretty catchy song. And Sarah says Three Dog Night. Mom told me not to go. That's a great song. Uh, Christopher says Dancing Queen by ABBA. Gary says I've seen the Eagles and Crosby, Stills and Nash live. Really, really. I've seen neither, but I bet they put on good shows. Doug says I missed the question. Why are we saying song titles again? Oh, pick a song that is your go-to song. Say this song is me. If I had to give myself an equation, and people said, say a song that resembles your personality, that means something to you, that is like the number one pick on the soundtrack of your life, what would it be? And mine was American Pie by Don McLean, and everyone else is like, "Zzz," giving their favorite songs. Someone says Kings of the Trio, Christy Minstrel Singers, Simon and Garfunkel Rule. Oh, big folky songs there, huh? Mustafa says, I also love They Call Me the Breeze by Leonard Skinner. Love Leonard Skinner. Derek Government says, I've seen Kiss 3 times. I think my wife's seen them 6. And Miller says, Liz, I do have Witchy Woman on my playlist, but I just adore Stevie Nicks. Sisters of the Moon is a great one. John Doe says, you ever heard the Bob Ross conspiracy theory? I have not. I have not. And Emily says, because we can tug. And Tug says, John Doe, no, but you have my attention. Mine too. Mine too. Indy says, Stevie Nicks did Blue Lamp solo. It was on Belladonna. Thank you. Very, very good. I didn't think that was a Fleetwood Mac song. I thought that was simply a Stevie Nicks song. Thank you for confirming that. And Emily says, Tug, what's your song? Gary Carpenter says, I love the Beatles and the Mamas and the Papas. Great stuff on both score. Emily says, I can't hear Eye of the Tiger without thinking of Jensen Ackles. Then again, I think of him often. Not familiar, but I'll take your word for it. Zipperlick says, when the folk music scene was big, when music meant something, when disco ruled, it was all sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Gary says, I saw the Spice Girls live. Entry says, I like Pink Floyd. watch Emily play. And he says, "Sorry, I meant to say it was cut from Belladonna." Well, I don't have Belladonna, so I'd take your word for it either way. But I was I kind of figured it was one of her solo numbers. But thank you. And John Doe says Bob Ross painted a few pictures that matched a few crime scenes body. Same thing with Garth Brooks. Wow. I did not know that. Didn't they just do a movie about Bob Ross that hasn't been released yet? Ed Mine says, yes, your go to song, Pink Floyd. Did you say Tracy? Oh, man. We were talking about Pink Floyd as well, yes, which is what we came in earlier when I said I hadn't seen them live. Uh, Tug says, In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. If you're doing Peter Gabriel, go with Shock the Monkey. Don't you know you're gonna? And Gary Carpenter says, My go to song would be We Are the World. Chance, Chance says, Rocky 3, baby. That's where Eye of the Tiger comes from. And so Bob Ross was a serial killer. No, he just gave hints. My vlog's giving us another link. Best song ever. And Emily Miller says, I saw Janet Jackson live for free. Saw Tesla open for Poison and passed out at the concert thanks to the flu. I still have my backstage pass from '89. Amazing story. So amazing. I think I'm going to use that as my wrap up story. That's a very cool story. Uh, as it turns out now, it's 9 o'clock. So I just want to say anything last that you guys want to read into the record, please do. I didn't get any content out this week. I am so sorry. Again, this week kind of got away from me. I am shooting to have some content for this week, and so look for content. And Emily says, Gary, everybody's showing up on The Boys. Andy Spout says to Tug, sorry, Tug. I invested my time from Love Boat Trivia more wisely, but could not find data about Dave's video. My go to lyric resources all think Dave made it up. And Melissa Foster says, another great one is Black Magic Woman by Santana. Love that solo at the beginning and the end. That's a great one as well. That's a great one. And Music Girl says, does anybody remember Hands Across America? I participated. You participated in that? Oh my God, I remembered. I did not participate, but that's very, very, very cool. Gary Covers says Garth Brooks. Yeah. Tracy says John Lee Hooker. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try to sing in that register. But yes, he was amazing. And he did a song. He did a song for the Blues Brothers, and they cut it. Philistines. Texas said it is truly hopeless, and D, thanks for putting to work in. Sarah says later, everyone. See you all Tuesday. I will do everything I can to be there. I promise. I promise. A lot of people saying good night to one another. Have a wonderful week. Music Girl says, thank you very much. Tugs is Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas, pretty good too. Emily Miller says Tracy didn't judge John Lee Hooker like that. Tracy's giving a face to he said Christopher said goodnight to Tracy, and she's giving a smiley face back. And he's Indy Spout says, thanks, Bob. Peace out. Yes, my voice is starting to go. And Tug says goodnight to all. And Melissa says, yes, another great one, Unapologetic Geek. Sarah says, epic AF, my brother. No, you're epic. You're epic and based. You're a based or a bepic. But you're amazing, Sister Sarah. Thank you. And Chin says, Sarah and I are partying like it's 1999 Tuesday night. I want to thank you guys for all the 1999 stuff. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that yet. Thanks for the 1999 stuff. I want to talk about my favorite 1999 episode, but I'm not going to do it until I'm actually on your show. Well, in the comments section, but that'll do. So, but I want to thank you because I love that show back in the day. I love that show back in the day. A lot of people saying good night. Gary says, I've got to go. My other show is on. And Tracy says, thanks, guys. Have a great night. And Pablo says, my flock, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be there, at least for a portion of it. And mine says, thanks, Nostalgic, for throwing that question out. It made my night on here. Well, and then mine's, I want to thank you for joining us, by the way. Thank you very much for being here. I'm glad you had a good time. And Chance, thank you for throwing out the good question. Don't forget the like button. And Chance says, on camera, brother, Thrash Pondo Pawns will send you the link. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. And again, I want to thank you guys all for coming by tonight. It's been my pleasure. I love doing these. I love doing these. I love having you guys here. And I love when you guys enjoy yourselves. So please, please, please have a great week. Be good, be safe, be careful. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.